Secret 7 Fireworks by Enid Blyton. Peter, Jack and Janet were walking home from school one fine October day when someone came skipping up behind them. It was Susie, Jack's sister.
Hello, you three. What's happening to the Secret 7?
Nothing's happened to the Secret 7.
The Secret 7's falling to bits.
Susie, you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I do. I know you haven't met for ages. I know you can't use Peter's sheds for meetings. I know...
What do you mean you know we can't use our shed?
I saw it full of onions. I've a particular reason for asking if the Secret 7 is still going.
What is this silly particular reason?
Well, if your Secret 7 has stopped, I'd like to form a Secret 7 club of my own.
What? Copy us? You can forget that, Susie. The Secret 7 is meeting this very Saturday morning, isn't it, Jack?
Oh yes, 10 o'clock, wasn't it, Peter?
That's right.
Go away, Susie.
All right, but you just wait and see. Bye.
Well, we'd better have this Secret 7 meeting, as we've said we're going to.
What should we have a meeting about?
What about planning for Bonfire Night?
Gosh, yes. Jolly good idea, Peter.
Tell George about the meeting, will you? I'll tell Colin, and Janet will tell Pam and Barbara.
Right, so long.
On Saturday morning, Janet and Peter were down by their shed together with 3 barrows, ready to wheel away the onions stored there. Peter went off to find a shovel to make the job easier, and Janet began to put the onions into the barrows when Colin and George came along.
Hello. Password, please. It's been so long since we had a meeting that we've forgotten it.
Ah, you've got your badges on. Good. Here are Pam and Barbara. Hello, you two. Password, please.
Wee Willy Winky.
That's right.
Password, boys.
Wee Willy Winky.
You'd forgotten it. Oh, here's Peter.
Password, it's Wee Willy Winky. Ah, here's Jack.
We're all here now. Let's move these onions. That's that. Thank goodness. All neatly stowed in the summer house.
Now we'll go back to the shed and hold our meeting. That's odd. The door's locked.
Password, please.
Susie, how dare you? Open the door at once.
In a minute. Pooh, it smells.
Susie, will you open this door?
On one condition, and that is that you let me walk out without speaking to me or touching me.
All right, come on out, but we'll pay you back for this. Right, inside everyone. Now, we've met to discuss plans for Bonfire Night. It's still some time ahead, but it takes a good while to save up money for fireworks. Also, we'll have to discuss a guy.
I vote we make a nice big guy. Oh, yes, and let's have a huge bonfire.
Right, a great big bonfire, and a guy to match. That means we'll have to begin collecting stuff for it at once.
Where should we have the bonfire?
I think it would be a good idea to have it in the field at the bottom of our garden.
Yes, good idea.
Right, that's settled then. Now, about saving up for fireworks.
Who'll be treasurer?
Better vote for one. Here's a piece of paper each. Now, write down the person you think would be a good treasurer. Right, hand them in. Well, you seem to think I'm the one. Well, that's settled. We'll meet here each Saturday at 10 o'clock. Bring any firework money you have then.
What about a guy?
I think the girls had better make a big stuffed body.
Don't make them too enormous, else we shan't be able to get all clothes to fit in.
Well, that seems to be everything. We'll bring this meeting to an end.
The next Saturday morning, the 7 met again. The girls had made good progress with the guy. Everyone approved and agreed to bring old clothes they could find. Jack suggested that the guys should be kept in the shed in case Susie came snooping around. Peter collected the firework money, and to everyone's delight, there was a total of £5.50 already. The children then trooped off to the field to choose a place for the bonfire. Mr. Burton, who cut the hedges for Peter's father, was slashing at the hedge with a sharp-edged tool, and he agreed to put the trimmings together in a pile for the bonfire. The 7 ran across the field to the wood with Peter's golden spaniel, Scamper, barking joyfully. The children had a very busy morning collecting dead wood. They dragged their finds to a place under a big tree. Soon, quite a good pile was there, and the children felt in need of a rest.
Let's go to the hedges, old Tart, and sit down for a bit. I've got some sweets to share out.
Good idea.
I suppose Mr. Burton won't mind us sitting in his shed, will he?
Oh, no. Janet and I have often been inside. What's the matter, Scamper? There can't be anyone in there. Go and look, Scamper.
Clear off!
The beast! He's thrown a stone at Scamper.
What do you mean by throwing stones at my dog?
How about one for you then?
Ow! My ankle! You'd better get out of this shed. It doesn't belong to you. Jack, I'm going to get Mr. Burton. Watch and see if the men go.
Look! They're coming out!
What a nasty-looking lot. I wonder what they're up to.
Some kind of mischief, I should think.
I've got a notebook. I'm going to jot down what the men are like, just in case it might be useful.
But how could it be?
You never know. Hello, here's Peter. Didn't you get Mr. Burton?
No, he's gone off somewhere. Those men gone?
Yes, and Jack's just going to make some notes about them. Let's see. One man was short and dark and had a crooked nose.
Yes, and one was big and fat and had a moustache, no hat, gingery hair.
And the third one was thin and limped. His ears stuck out too.
Right, I've written that all down. Now let's take all our bonfire stuff back. We'll have the sweets in our own shed. I don't fancy Mr. Burton's shed after those scrappy-looking men have been there.
They were soon busy tying up the wood into enormous bundles. Then they pulled the bundles across the field to the bonfire place and piled all the branches into a heap. They left the pile of wood and went to their shed. Peter unlocked the door and they went in.
I'm keeping the door locked because I've got our firework money in that box on the shelf. And also because of the guy. Susie might just come along and do something silly to it.
She wouldn't touch the money, though.
Yes, I know that, of course, Jack. I say, can I see your descriptions of the men?
Here you are. It'll be funny if we meet them again.
We shan't meet them again. They were just tramps wandering over the country.
Oh, well, you never know. When is our next meeting, Peter?
Can you manage Thursday after school to see what guy clothes we get?
Right, OK.
Pam and I will, if we can.
Good. Cheerio, everyone. See you here on Thursday.
But their next meeting came before Thursday. Something very exciting happened, and it was Colin who called the meeting. On Monday evening, when Peter and Janet were doing their homework, the telephone rang. It was Colin, sounding very excited. He had to see Peter at once. It was agreed that he would cycle round straight away and meet Peter and Janet in the shed.
Wee Willie Winky!
Colin, what's all the excitement about?
You know where my granny lives, don't you?
Yes.
Well, she's away, but coming back tomorrow. My mother told me to take some eggs to Granny's house and give them to Greta, her Austrian helper.
Go on.
Well, there was a light on in the hall, as usual. I slipped round to the kitchen door. It was shut, but not locked.
Yes.
I went inside. Greta wasn't in the kitchen, so I went through to the sitting room. My word, what a mess.
What kind of mess?
Everything upside down, drawers emptied on the floor, and Granny's safe broken open. It was empty.
Colin, how awful! Where was Greta?
I suddenly heard a wailing noise and traced it to the kitchen larder. There was poor Greta inside, locked in.
What did you do next?
I telephoned the police. 2 men came round at once.
But why did you want to call a meeting of the Secret Seven?
Well, listen. I heard Greta giving details of the robbers to the police. 3 men, and she described 2 of the men exactly as Jack described those men in his notebook. Greta didn't see the 3rd, but I'm sure they must have been the men we saw in Mr. Burton's shed.
Coy, yes. We'll certainly call a meeting tomorrow, after school, sharp at 4:15.
Tuesday seemed a very long day indeed to the Secret Seven, but the meeting time came at last. Everyone was at the shed, and Colin told his story all over again.
So Greta saw 2 of the men, but not the 3rd. Have you brought your notebook, Jack?
Yes. Colin, how did Greta describe the 2 men she saw?
She said one was short and dark with a crooked nose.
Well, that answers exactly to my first description.
And Greta said the 2nd man was thin, and he had ears that stuck out. She thought he was lame.
Ha! She's right. I've got that down. You say she didn't see the 3rd one?
No, she saw the first 2 quite clearly, but the 3rd man was behind them.
She must have been thrilled to see you when you opened the larder door.
She was. Then she sat down, plump. On a chair I put the bag of eggs.
We oughtn't to have laughed.
Well, Greta laughed too.
Did you tell the police that you thought we'd seen the 3 men?
Yes, of course. But I didn't say anything about Jack writing down their descriptions. I thought he'd like to tell them himself.
Shall we go to the police straight away, Colin?
Yes, we'd better.
Right.
Can we have another meeting soon to tell you what happens at the police station?
Of course. Tomorrow, same time.
Colin and Jack cycled off to the police station. The sergeant had already seen Colin when the police had gone to his granny's house. "Hello, Colin. Any more burglars to report?"
No, sir. But Jack here has a description of the 3rd man.
"Well, I'm blessed. How do you know what he was like?"
We were out in the woods last Saturday and saw 3 pretty awful men in a hut. We thought they might be up to some mischief, so Jack wrote down their descriptions.
Here's my notebook.
One was big and fat and had a moustache. No hat, gingery hair. Good work, son. Now, did you notice what he was dressed in?
No, they're all pretty dirty and scruffy.
Well, this is a great help. I expect those thieves are miles away by now, but keep your eyes open.
We certainly will, sir. Good night.
Gosh, I'll have to race home. I've loads of homework. Oh, and Susie's having 2 girls to stay. Their mother's in hospital. She'll be so busy looking after them. Perhaps she won't interfere so much.
When Jack met Susie's friends, Doris and Hilda, he didn't much like what he saw. He didn't look forward to having 3 giggling girls about. He was even less amused to learn that they were going to form their own club, the Tiresome 3. He would have to warn the others of trouble ahead. The next day, Wednesday, the Secret Seven met at the shed after school. Jack told them about the Tiresome 3. Peter groaned.
Don't say they're going to play a silly trick on us.
Well, it doesn't much matter if they raid us. The door will be locked.
How are you getting on with the guy?
We've got some fine clothes for him. Pam's father sent some of his.
Dad's rather big and fat.
so his clothes should fit the guy beautifully.
And George's father sent a wonderful cap.
Our dad gave us some old gumboots.
We'll dress him up after the meeting. He needs a mask too.
I'll slip up to the shops later.
I hope you've all remembered to bring a little firework money.
Yes,
I've got mine.
Hand it over. Cool. That totals £10.50. Pretty good.
Now, what about dressing the guy?
Trousers first. Come on, help me, someone.
I'll pin them up. There.
Now the coat.
That fits him beautifully. Colin, what about the mask?
Right, shan't be long.
Let's get the boots on. At last. That's done.
Oh no, not Susie, surely.
No, it's Colin.
Hey, look at the evening paper. There's news about the thieves. They've caught 2 of them. Listen. It is reported that 2 of the thieves who robbed Mrs. Strangeway's house on Monday night have been caught by the police. The 3rd man escaped. He is stout, tall, and has a moustache and red hair. The stolen articles have not yet been discovered.
What a pity the other man escaped.
Yes, and took the stuff with him, I suppose.
I bet he'll be well away by now.
Did you get the mask, Colin? Put it on the guy.
There we go. How's that?
Oh, the mask has a red moustache. Just like the robber who got away.
Now the cap.
Can't you get him an old chair or something?
I think there's an old chair in the stables. Let's go and get it. There's the chair in the corner.
Give me a hand, Colin.
Right, let's take it back.
Look, by the shed. There's someone standing there. Shine your torch, Peter.
It's our guy.
Susie, you've taken our guy and stood him outside. Wait till I get you.
Gosh, didn't he look real leaning against the shed?
Oh, yes.
What idiots we were to leave the shed open.
Oh, well, let's get the guy on his chair. There, it fits him perfectly.
Gosh, it's getting pretty late. I must go.
The meeting broke up and Jack cycled home, fuming with rage. He went to put his bicycle away and suddenly spotted a faint light in the summer house. He crept down to see and heard low voices. A meeting of the tiresome 3. He did a little snooping.
We can't let the Secret 7 crow over us with a guy like that. I wouldn't mind if they let us share and see the bonfire, but they're so mean.
Well, we'll raid them again. What about their bonfire? Where is it?
I don't know. I'll ask Jack nicely, and I bet he'll tell me.
Oh, yes, Susie. I might give you a hint where it is, but it'll give the tiresome three a long walk in the wrong direction. Now then, how about a little fright for you, to pay you back for your mischief?
Goodness, whatever was that? Oh, let's go indoors. Quickly, come on.
Time I went indoors too.
Jack, did you hear that awful noise?
What do you mean? The cat mewing? Don't say you're scared of him. And by the way, I suppose you think it was funny taking our guy out of the shed.
Well, you're so mean. You won't share your guy or fireworks or bonfire. I bet you won't even tell us where your bonfire will be.
Oh, I'll tell you. You know Haling's field that runs up that very steep hill? Well, you'll find a bonfire there. Now I must go and do my homework.
Easy, wasn't it? We'll get there tomorrow and we'll pull their bonfire to bits.
Jack cycled round to Peter's early next morning to tell him the joke he meant to play on the tiresome three. Peter grinned and scribbled out a note, which read, "You can have the whole of this bonfire. Hope you enjoyed your climb. A good laugh from the Secret Seven." At the summit of Haling's Hill, they hurriedly arranged a small pile of twigs, and Peter stuffed the note under them so that a corner showed. Then off they raced to school. The Secret Seven met again in their shed that day at 5. Peter announced a grand total of £15. Then Jack, grinning all over his face, told the story of the trick he and Peter had played on the tiresome three that morning. Suddenly, Scamper started growling, and Pam gave a shriek as she saw a face looking in at the window. They all ran to the door and looked out, but there was no one there, although everyone was sure it must have been Susie peering in. The meeting was broken up and Jack cycled off. To his great astonishment, he met Susie, Hilda and Doris at his front gate. Susie was furious at the trick he had played and blamed him for Doris hurting her ankle when she fell on the hill. He realized at once that they could not have been looking in the shed window. But who had been looking through the window? He telephoned Peter and told him immediately. Next day, Peter, George and Pam went off with Peter's father to buy some of the fireworks. Peter handed over £10.50 and put the remaining £4.50 in his pocket. When they got home, Peter popped into the shed and put the money away in the box. He looked at the guy and decided to ask his father for an old pipe. Later that evening, his father found a pipe with a broken stem and gave it to Peter.
Want to walk, Scamper? Right, we'll take the pipe to the guy. Coming, Janet? Got the key of the shed? It's in my pocket. Bother, it isn't. Gosh, surely I locked the shed when I popped in with the money. Quick, come and see. Look, I left the key in the lock. What an idiot I am.
Peter, look at the guy. His clothes are gone. The tiresome three must have been.
This is simply awful. Come back to the house. I'll telephone Jack straight away and tell him what the tiresome three have done.
Hello?
Jack, bad news. The tiresome three have stolen the guy's clothes. Like a fool, I left the shed key in the lock.
So that's where Susie and the others went this evening. I'll go for Susie over this. Susie, what have you done with our guy's clothes?
Don't be funny. We were up in the attic all evening, looking out jumble for Mother's sale.
You were not. Don't tell untruths. Where are those clothes?
I tell you, we haven't got the clothes. But I'm really glad to hear your silly old guy has lost them. Ha, ha, ha.
The 7 had to meet at the shed the next morning, and it was a sad and sorry company. They gazed at their wonderful guy, now so bare and ugly.
It's too bad. It's stealing.
Well, not exactly, Pam. It's just one of her silly tricks.
It's all my fault, I'm afraid, leaving the key in the lock.
Well, we'll have to try and get some more clothes. There's an old raincoat hanging in our garage. I'll get that.
We've chose the fireworks and we've kept the money back for those new moon rockets. How much money have we got left, Peter?
£4.50 in the money box here. What? The money's gone. Not a penny left.
If Susie took it, it was only a joke, Peter. She's not a thief.
Well, didn't she steal the guy's clothes?
No, wait. I feel like Jack. I don't believe Susie would ever steal. I think she will keep the clothes and money till after Bonfire Night and then give them back.
Yes, that's what they'll do. I'm sure of it.
Now, for goodness sake, let's go and collect wood for the bonfire.
Funny, someone's been digging round and about the bonfire. I wonder what for. Anyway, we need a good bit more wood. Come on.
Let's split up as we did last time.
Oh, look. There's Susie and the others.
Where are our guys' clothes? We haven't got them. You have, and don't go near our bonfire.
Be quiet, Pam.
We'll come back, and you won't find much of your bonfire left.
Susie and the others disappeared, and the 7 finished the bonfire. George suggested that they should take turns to guard it, but Jack thought of a better idea. He would watch the girls and not let them out of his sight. He was as good as his word until Sunday afternoon, when Susie and her friends decided to go for a walk. Jack said he would go too, but just at that moment his father asked him to give him a hand with cleaning the car, and so Jack had to stay. Bother. For 3/4 of an hour, Jack worked on the car, fuming, before he'd get a chance to telephone Peter and warn him. Peter called Janet, and together they raced to the field. What a shock they got. Their bonfire had been scattered all over the place.
They've destroyed it. How could they?
Susie must have gone mad.
Peter, what's this hole? Just where the bonfire was? It looks as if Susie and the others had a spade, scattered the wood, then dug a hole. What are they up to?
I don't know. Wait a minute. That's Susie and her friends coming up the field. Let's go and tackle them.
What's happened? Have you been kicking your bonfire about?
No, you're the ones who have done that.
We've only just come.
So you say.
Well, I won't say we wouldn't have spoilt it a bit, but we wouldn't have destroyed it.
Don't pretend.
Peter, they're not pretending. It wasn't them.
Peter won't believe you. You think we did all those things. Well, we didn't, and that's the truth. Come on, girls, let's go.
Thank goodness they've gone.
Peter, they truly aren't pretending. It's someone else, Peter.
But who?
Let's look around a bit. Do you suppose Mr. Burton knows anything about it?
He might have seen someone about. I wonder if he's around anywhere.
Perhaps he's in his hut.
Yes, good idea. Come on, race you. Here we are. Hello, Mr. Burton. Are you there?
No answer.
I'm going inside. No, he's not here. Hey, look, Janet. A spade. It's Mr. Burton's. It's got his name on the handle.
Peter, you don't think it could be Mr. Burton doing all these things?
It can't be, unless he's gone mad. Look, Janet, a button.
The guy's old coat had buttons like this. The thief has been here, and a button fell off the coat. Peter, who in the world is it?
Come on, let's go home. There's something odd about all this.
Peter and Janet agreed to tell the others what had happened at school the next morning and arrange a meeting at the shed after school. The 7 all arrived on time on the Monday afternoon.
Well, you know what happened to our bonfire yesterday, and you know that Janet and I don't think it was Susie and friends.
You thought it might be Mr. Burton?
Well, it wasn't. Dad told me that he's been ill in bed for some days.
Probably some trump then. We're blind! We're idiots!
Hold on, Jack. What's up?
I think I've spotted the person who's been stealing our things. Of course, of course.
Who is it?
Well, who can it be but the 3rd thief? The one who escaped.
The 3rd thief?
But yes, he knew the police had a description of him, so he had to get other clothes, and he got them from our guy.
Of course. He was tall and fat. He'd need big clothes, and he must have spotted them on our guy.
Yes, it must have been the thief who peeped in the window.
I bet the other 2 thieves buried the stolen valuables in our field, and that's what all the digging's for. He won't leave till he's found them.
We'd better tell the police what we think.
Don't forget it's bonfire night.
All right, I'll go and telephone the police. You lot get everything ready. And for goodness sake, look out for the thief.
Very soon, the guy, in his old raincoat and cap, was being carried out of the shed in his chair to the field. It was getting dark now, and Jack felt the first spots of rain on his face. They set to work to build up the scattered bonfire heap when Colin suddenly pulled Janet's coat and whispered to her.
Hey, look. Is that someone over there digging?
The 3rd robber. What do we do now?
Take no notice. Just keep an eye on him until the police come.
Can you see if he's dressed in our guy's clothes?
No, but it must be the thief. Else why is he digging? Come on, the bonfire's built up. Let's stick the guy on top. Give me a hand, George.
He's sitting there beautifully. Blow this rain. Everything's getting soaked.
Shut up. The man's coming across the field. Don't take any notice.
He's wearing the guy's old clothes.
Shh.
You lot, clear out of this field. It belongs to the farmer.
My father is the farmer it belongs to. Be careful of our dog. He bites.
Put that spade down. Don't hit the dog.
Scamper, come here.
The police! Quick, the thief's running off. After him, everyone. Get him, Scamper.
The beast! He's kicked Scamper.
Hi, police! The man's somewhere over here.
Gosh, the police have been quick. Hello, Sergeant.
I'm afraid we've lost him in the rain. If he slipped into the wood, we'll never get him there. Back to the cars, men. Good night, children.
Bother, now he won't be caught. He may be a mile away by now.
He's not, Peter. He's sitting up there on our bonfire. He's got the guy's raincoat on, but I saw his rubber boots in the light of my torch. He knew we wouldn't light the bonfire in this rain.
Phew, you're right. Stay here, everyone, and fiddle about round the bonfire. I'll rush over and try and catch the police before they drive off. Hey, Sergeant! The man's sitting on top of our bonfire. Come quickly!
Oh, come on, man.
Quick! He's getting down to the bonfire.
Got him. Good work, lads. Take him to the car. You go home now, kids. You'll get soaked. Sorry your bonfire's been spoiled.
I suddenly feel dreadfully tired. Let's go in.
Well, it was very exciting, but not much for a bonfire night.
And poor Scamper's hurt. I don't feel like having a bonfire at all now.
But next morning, they all felt very differently. The sergeant telephoned to say they could have the guy's clothes back, and he was so pleased with their help that he was sending along a bumper box of fireworks for their late Bonfire Night party. Peter was thrilled. All the others were delighted too when they heard, and great plans were made after morning school. There was just one more thing. The 7 all felt awful about Susie and her friends. They had accused them of playing nasty tricks and even stealing. Janet suggested that they write Susie a note apologising and invite her and her friends to the bonfire party. Everyone agreed. Susie was astonished and delighted. She forgave them all. Janet did wonder how long Susie's nice behaviour would last, or the secret 7's either, come to that. So we must make the best of tonight, she thought. They certainly did. Come out to the field and listen. Only one figure is missing from the grand firework party. Guess who it is? Yes, it's dear old Scamper. He's terrified of bangs and crashes, so he's lying comfortably in his basket indoors by the fire, pretending he can't go because his leg is bandaged. Goodbye, Scamper. Give the secret 7 a lick from us when you next see them.